Welcome to the Sneaker Tea Podcast. Before we get started, quick shout out to our sponsors. Sapiens, the pinnacle of reselling wisdom, providing members with the best info in reselling and changing the way you make money. Let's get into it.
What's up, everyone? It's your host, Dtx. Welcome to episode 2 of the Sneaker Tea Podcast. Last episode, we had Nick from Dash on, and he kind of gave us insight on the proxy company and cryptocurrency and crypto mining. This week, we got someone kind of on the other side of proxies. He's into sneaker botting and developing. You may know him from Discord as Cats or from Twitter as Backdoor That. What's up, man? How's it going?
Hey, what's up, man? I mean, I've been in the sneaker community for so long. It's so weird coming back in 2021 and late 2020, just seeing how much the game has changed. I first got into sneakers back in 2019. I developed a tool called Samurai Bypass, which was used to generate Shopify bypasses. This was when that was kind of a new thing that people were just starting to really dabble with. People were going crazy manually on Yeezy Supply, even just making bypass links in their browser. I remember there was this one tool. I wouldn't even call it a tool. There was this Google Doc that people were selling for $150. I was essentially telling people how to create a lot of bypass links. It was hilarious. So I decided to capitalize that and make a bot that exclusively made bypass links for people to use during Yeezy Supply drops. Because as you know, if you were around during that time, Yeezy Supply would take around 40 minutes to sell out. And no bots had the ability to make bypass links for Yeezy Supply, or at least no mainstream bots did. I'm sure there were some FNF bots that had that functionality.
Yeah.
But what I did was I created a system where people could create tons of bypass links and check out easily, and a lot of people cooked on it. It was a
You
really,
do
really
anything?
nice piece of software.
You do anything before sneakers though? Like any side hustles?
For sneakers, I was into cryptocurrency, similar to our last guest on the show. I did a lot of Ethereum mining back in 2017. I had multiple mining rigs set up in a unused room in the house, and I made quite a bit of money doing that. It was really, really fun. It got me into uh, assembling computers, and really, I credit that with getting me into sneakers because it just turned me on to the whole idea of computers developing and all that.
You similar to Nick, and you sold at the wrong time. You have some regrets with that.
Boy, yeah, I didn't sell the 2017 high. I sold some of my share then, but I sold most of it after it already gone down a bit because I kept thinking, oh, this is going to go back up. This is going to go back up. And unfortunately, I exited before this crazy bull run that we've seen in the last year or so. I haven't dabbled in crypto in quite a while now.
So, like, how did you get into like the sneaker community? Like, what did you like read about it on Reddit or something like that? Like, you're like, oh, this is pretty cool. I want to start this. Like, how do you get into it?
Well, one of my friends was actually just using a browser extension in the back of a classroom trying to cop Supreme at 8 a.m. one morning. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? I think it was actually Force Cop. It was Force Cop, I swear to God. But he was
Okay.
using Force Cop in the back of class to try to cop Supreme. And he started telling me all about it. Like, man, this shit resells. It goes crazy. And from that point on, I mean, him and I had a bunch of fun just going for Preem. I mean, it was a blast. I
When
wasn't
was
seriously
this?
in the game then. I wasn't copying much, but we had a whole lot of fun.
When was
I
this? Like
This
2016?
was, I want to say 2018 actually. This is like
Oh,
2018.
really? So not that long ago.
Yeah, 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. And after that, I sort of left the game because I wasn't really in it that much. And then back 2019, I realized, hey, I'm gonna come right back around to this. I'm gonna get into this, and I'm gonna actually do it right this time. So I did. I started copping a lot. I developed Samurai, and I made a name for myself essentially.
So when you took the hiatus from sneakers, that's when you kind of went into crypto.
Yeah, when I took the hiatus from sneakers, that was really when I was pursuing crypto. I dropped sneakers in favor of crypto and then came back.
Yeah. So then when you came back, that's when you went into like the more tech side of
That's when I
the
went to the tech side, and that's when I
sneaker
really
game.
started making anything really with sneakers.
Yeah. The sneaker industry, sneaker game. It's crazy how much the sneaker industry is like the market is valued at, right? I was looking at it before we started recording, and it's like in 2020, like the sneaker market is valued at like $79 billion. I mean, that's just crazy
It's
to think.
it's absolutely insane how much it's even gone up from 2018, 2019 levels. Just looking back, there were pairs back then that sat on shelves, didn't sell, that today, if they released, they would be gone instantly and they would resell for $50 over retail minimum.
Yeah.
The hype is just completely unreal nowadays.
Yeah, it's insane. Like how and it's affecting the resale market, of course, too. And it's like how much the resale market's going up, and this is like majority of it is coming from like the sneaker industry, which is just
Uh-huh.
absolutely crazy
Uh-huh.
to think. Because it's
Yeah,
like if you were to
sneakers
think,
sneakers are like the OG thing people are reselling. I mean, of course there are people maybe in the 70s, 80s, 90s doing trading cards, but that wasn't really the same thing.
trading cards making a comeback too, though.
They really are. I mean, I see so many people in groups absolutely cooking out, going for trading cards, Pokemon cards, all sorts of other collectibles.
So, yeah, and then like I think trading card bots are going to be something that are starting to like they're already starting to come up. You can kind of see them, you know, like becoming really popular, and I think that they're going to even become more popular than they are now.
I agree. I mean, people who are into sneakers, with how hard sneaker botting is getting for a lot of people and how expensive it is, people are wanting other options. I mean, for a good quality AIO bot, I mean, let's just say Soul AIO. Soul AIO is like 1,500 right now, and that's
Yeah,
$500 off of its peak.
yeah,
And
that's.
Cyber's 6 grand. Don't even get me started on Dragon. That shit's crazy.
I don't even think
But
it's worth that much to be. I mean, I haven't seen it. It cooks Asia. I know that cooks the Asian
yeah,
market, but
well, Asian buyers pay the high for bots. I mean, back when I was bot flipping in 2019, if I found an Asian buyer, I would sell bots to them for $100 over what I would charge someone in the US just because they'll pay it.
similar with shoes too. You know, when you find an Asian buyer, bulk buyer, they're gonna take more.
Yeah, it's similar to shoes. They just pay more.
Yeah, because the market there is just higher in general.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, can you kind of give us a background on like when you started bot developing? It was obviously a really big bot. So, like, what was on the marketing side of that? Like, how did that work?
So when I started bot developing, really, I didn't start this with the intention of distributing it. A lot of my projects that I've ended up distributing in the past, whether that's open sourcing it or releasing it publicly for free, but not releasing the source or selling it, I usually don't intend to make them public. I usually start working on something for myself that I think would be pretty cool, something useful. And then as I keep working on it, it just grows and grows in scope. And I realize, hey, I could commercialize this and I can do something with this. And so that's how Samurai really started. It was a tool that I thought would be pretty cool to have for myself that I eventually expanded upon and made a viable commercial product that people could use to get loads of sneakers. And I remember I worked on it for around a month before I released it. I brought in a couple friends that I knew from the resale game, and they helped me out. I got a guy for PR, got a guy to help me do the UI because I do mainly back end development and reverse engineering. And from there, we just launched the product. Marketing in this community, really, it's just success speaks for itself. If
Yeah,
you have a halfway competent PR, success, you'll go places, you'll get hype. People recognize that success, they hone in on it.
yeah, I agree. It's all about. I mean, you can see that with kind of like bots right now, like Haya. It's all that's all marketing. To be honest, like people that I talk to that own the bot, and I'm not throwing throw any shade at the bot. I'm just saying like people that own the bot say that like there isn't the success that is being marketed. It's
Right?
just the marketing is carrying that bot. And, it's
Right.
obviously a good bot. I'm not throwing any shade and saying it's a horrible bot. I'm just saying that the marketing makes it look a lot better than it actually is.
Well, I can't speak for what of the bots that are around nowadays, but I'm sure a lot of bots are really investing into PR. But as I said previously, success speaks for itself. And with a good bit of success, you don't even have to do any marketing to get people to go in on your bot.
How do you come up with the name Samurai Bypass? I'm just interested.
To be honest, I don't even remember. I don't remember in the slightest.
Really.
I think I was just running through names in my head and I was like, that one sounds pretty cool. And I stuck with it.
So, like, was it how many members did y'all have?
I believe at our peak we had 1,200.
1,200 members.
1,200.
Wow. So, I mean, at that time, I feel like the sneaker bot or the sneaker botting community in general has just grown
Yeah.
exponentially, like over
I mean, you'll
quarantine and
see in
over.
a lot of AIO bots nowadays. I mean, I just caught Balco today, and there were 1,500 online users. Soul, there's routinely 2,000. That's not even their complete member count. It's crazy how big these bots are and how many people have them. Sometimes it makes me think there's so many people with these bots. There's only K pairs per drop. There's so many people who are in this game who are losing money because they just haven't perfected their setup. and they haven't made it perfect.
But once you get that set up down,
Yeah.
feels
Once you
good.
get that set up down, it's unreal. Once you get that set up down, you can really start going for mass pairs. It's just a matter of finding good proxy providers, making sure you're running on a very good server, making sure that you're running the best spots you possibly can. It's all trial and error.
So as a successful sneaker botter, like you're pretty successful, in botting. So like, what advice would you give to like someone that's starting sneaker botting, is trying to look for that perfect setup, but doesn't have it down yet, and is like losing a lot of money right now? What advice would you have for them?
To be honest, it really depends. The only way to really perfect your setup is to try things. And
Yeah.
I can't speak for every bot. I only have a few bots. Well, more than a few, but I don't have every bot is what I'm saying. So I can't give specific tips on a per bot level. But just try. If you don't cop one drop, switch providers. If you don't cop another drop, switch again. For proxy providers, make sure you're trying as many as possible. I'm not going to shout out any names here, but I will say that get ISP proxies. ISP proxies are the wave. If you don't have ISPs, especially for Shopify drops, you're not going to have much of a chance.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing a lot lately too, is that ISP proxies are doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for you. So you got really big, you have accumulated over 2,000 followers on Twitter. And recently I've had to deal with an impersonator. So I'm just interested, have you ever had to deal with any?
Oh boy. Well, back before I launched my bot, I was a middleman for Title Market, and I would have a new impersonator every other week. It's unfortunate because there's not much you can do until someone's already fallen for said impersonator. There were some cases where people would realize they're an impersonator, add me, the real cats, to the group chat, and I'd be like, "Hey, what's good, man?" And they would immediately leave. It's pretty funny, but
yeah, like
it's sad because there's not much you can do other than report the accounts and hope Discord does something. You can try to warn everyone you know, hey, this isn't me. Don't fall for this guy. He's going to take your money. He's going to scam you. But at the end of the day, people have to look out for themselves. And unless you have the ability to ban someone from Discord, which no one does unless they're Discord themselves, there's nothing you can really do. Same thing with Twitter.
I think it was 2 days ago. Someone DM'd me on Instagram. And he was like, can you respond to my Discord DM? And I'm like, oh, what's your Discord? He's like, he gave me the name, and I looked at my Discord DMs. I'm like, I don't see you. And then he sent me our DMs. I'm like, that's not me. And it's like dtx.sneakers. And he's like, I said, ask him, can you send me your Instagram link? He's like, yeah, sure. And then, yeah, to no avail, he sends my Instagram to that person.
Yeah.
So I was able to report him and then get some other people to report him. We ended up getting him taken down, luckily.
That's good. The more people you have report an account, the better. But unfortunately, that's really the only thing you can do.
Yeah, I've never had an impersonator before, so I was like, oh, dang.
Yeah.
It's kind of flattering. It's like, wow, you impersonated me.
It is slightly. It's like, it's kind of a sign that you've made it in some regard, that you have enough of a name for someone to be like, hey, I'm going to imitate this person. It's sad because they're using your name to steal from other people, but it's sort of gratifying in the sense that, as I said previously, it means you're big enough where it's worth it for someone to do that.
Yeah, exactly. It's I couldn't have said any better. But so
speaking
you worked
about working for Title, though, that was something that I really enjoyed doing.
I was right about to bring that up. Yeah.
Yeah, that was something I enjoyed doing prior to Samurai. It was really, really a good way for me to just have a consistent stream of income while I was working on Samurai. I remember I would be just sitting at my computer developing stuff, writing code, and every time a ticket came in, claim it, $10. Claim it, $10.
So
but
drop
it
a little,
definitely pushed me through.
Drop a little info for us. So was it $10 every single time that you were making?
The middleman fee in Title back then, that just went straight to the middleman. Title didn't really take much of a cut. I'm not sure
because they were charging that monthly fee too.
Yeah, they charge the monthly fee now. I'm not sure if any of the middleman fee goes to Title themselves, but back then there wasn't a monthly fee, and all the money went to the middleman. It was $10 for bots under 10,000, 15 for anything. And really, if you're able to get in, which there were a lot of applicants, there were a lot of people who wanted in to the middleman job. I got lucky because I applied, and one of the friends of Shaba who owns Title was also a friend of mine, and he put a note me. That's the reason I was accepted to become a middleman.
Wow. So So, I mean, how long were you a middleman in title?
I was a middleman for around 4 months. I want to say from July 2019 until September, October-ish.
So, would you say Samurai got you most of your Twitter following, or title got you most of your Twitter
Samurai
following?
did. Samurai definitely
Samurai?
got me most of my Twitter following. Before then, I had a couple followers. I wasn't a no name, but I also wasn't nearly as big as I was while I was developing it and afterwards.
On Twitter,
Once
I'm a
that
no
bot
name.
started getting
So,
success,
anyone who's listening, link in description. Go hit me with the follow on Twitter.
follow
I need
him.
to get,
Follow him right now.
yeah, I
Do
need
it.
to get my followers
You
up on
won't regret
Twitter.
it.
Yeah, but that's crazy. I didn't know that you were a title middleman. Any connections you make from it? I'm interested in like anyone you make a long term connection with through title.
Well, I wouldn't say long-time connection, but for a good while, and I still talk to them every so often. I communicate with the other middleman. We would have conversations and chat. 717 from Title, I love that guy. He's amazing. I don't talk to him much anymore. Back when I was a middleman, I had a whole lot of fun chatting with him. And he DM'd me recently, and we kind of talked a bit. Same thing with Liam, all the people who were around when I was a middleman. It was funny because I haven't done many deals on Title recently, so I only had like one reputation point because they cleared them since I was last a middleman. So I opened up a ticket today because I was buying Valco, and the middleman's like, "Hey, I see you're new. Welcome to Title." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm definitely new. Very new."
That's hilarious. Yeah. So,
Yeah, it was funny.
what made you want to buy Balco? Shopify.
Shopify, yeah. I've been using a beta bot, Chegio. Love that guy. But I've been using his beta bot for Shopify, and I've also been using Soul. But I'm just trying to step up my Shopify game because Chegio is good, but it has some bugs right now. And Soul, it's decent on Shopify. It's decent. I haven't copped a lot with it. I've copped a few things, but Balco's pretty much the undisputed king.
So, what's your bot inventory looking like right now?
Bot inventory. Let me pull up the list.
Oh, we
I'm
got a list.
running whatpot, Soul, Cyber. I'm rent from a friend. He gives it to me for cheap every other drop or so. Moji, Splash Force, Astral AO. That's something I'm working on right now. I've got a couple modules for it right now. Nothing too crazy yet, but just keep an eye on that. Might be big in a few months once I actually put some work into it. Don't know if it's been mentioned already, but I work for a real world company right now as a developer. So I don't have much time to work on sneaker botting, but the nature of my job is temporary. So once I'm no longer employed by this company, I'm going to try to make an entrance into sneaker botting again and sneaker developments. I've already made my entrance into botting, but I'm going to get back into sneaker developments. It's crazy because I've only been back for 2 months or so, and I've already gotten 3 job offers from beta bots trying to hire me to do their dev work. It seems like there's a shortage of developers in the community because it's crazy to me that I come back and immediately I'm getting those offers.
You post
But back
anywhere
to my
like
bots.
dev for hire?
What did you say?
I said, did you post anywhere like I'm a developer for hire? Like,
No, I didn't. Just people who I knew from back in the game who were trying to start their own bots or whatever. Like I remember, one guy offered me $5,000 a month
that's
to
crazy.
dev his beta bot.
That's crazy. And like maintain it and all that.
Yeah, maintain it. I was going to be on, or he wanted me to be on full time.
Yeah. No, it's a lot of work too.
It is. It's a whole lot of work. Hence why I wasn't able to take the offer with my current job. But continuing my bot inventory, got TSB. Nike botting is nice right now. TSB isn't the best Nike bot. I know there's some that are better, but TSB is consistent and gets the job done. And I would highly recommend it if you want to get into Nike botting. I've got Chegio. I've got Resurge, which one of my friends, RJ, is developing. It's a beta bot right now for Walmart's. And I believe he's going to be expanding it to other sites too, Target, Amazon, etc. I would really highly recommend keeping an eye on it. I have faith in him developing it, and I think it'll be a big name in the collectible botting area soon. And of course, I've got Valco, the one I've been talking about.
That's crazy. What was the first one you said? Whatpot?
Whatpot, yeah.
Every guest I'm gonna bring on has to have Whatpot. Because last week Nick he handles Whatpot giveaways in his server, and I need to get Whatpot. Someone needs to throw me an invite.
Yeah, if I get an invite, I'll sauce you it. Thing is, I've been in Whatbot for a year now. No one knows I'm in there. I'm on a burner, but
Uh-oh.
I haven't gotten a single invite in a year of being in the whatpot Discord and copying. I mean, I've gotten like, I want to say 71 pairs using whatpot. I haven't even run in the last few months because I've been running Moji instead.
Yeah. Moji seems to be cooking on foot sites too.
Moji's been doing really well. There was an issue a while back with PVs in the US region. So I was running for the Grinches and I got 13 payment verifications and I was so sad after that. But they've fixed those issues now and Moji's doing really well. It's another bot I would highly recommend for foot sites. Although the problem with foot site botting is you need to find a cheap provider that works and is good because that will eat your data. Foot sites, run a bunch of tasks and use a bunch of data, maybe you'll cop.
Basically, yeah. I mean, foot site spotting is becoming really, really different than what it was when I started botting. At least now I don't bot much anymore. I think I stopped botting because of how frustrated I was with just PVs and foot. And I was pretty bad at botting too. If I'm honest, I was not good at it. But I think that's because of the bots I used and the providers I used. I think if I went back into it, I'd be way more successful.
Yeah, it's all in the setup. Everything is in the setup.
100%. It's like I'm helping people come up with like, successful setups and they're hitting like 60 pairs, 70 pairs, and I'm sitting here like I hit like 20 or 10, like on mass release drops like Jubilees or something. I'm like, wow, okay. It gets me really mad because it's like,
oh man, Jubilees are one of my big regrets past few months. I wouldn't CA.
Didn't go for
I was concerned about the Jubilees bricking and not doing so well. I didn't go for them for initial, and then halfway through the release, like 30 minutes after 7 a.m., I saw that price on StockX went up like $30. I was like, oh, damn. So I started my foot site tasks, and I copped. I have 3 of them sitting next to me right now, but I wish I could have gone more.
I have 2 of them sitting next to me right now. So
yeah,
it's crazy. It's like I think with Jubilees I hit 45, but that's including PVs.
Oh wow.
But
PVs are very difficult. PVs are tough.
Yeah, and my webhook wasn't connected either for like 60% of the drop.
Oh wow.
I was using Wrath for that drop. I think that's why I did well.
Wrath is very good. Yeah, Wrath is a really good bot. One of my friends actually won a Wrath giveaway last year, back when Wrath was like $500.
That's crazy.
He kept Wrath until I think just a few months ago, and he sold it for something like $5 or $6 grand. He put all that in stocks. I don't know if he's lost it or
put it in GME.
Hopefully he didn't buy GME, and if he did, he bought longs at like $40.
Yeah. Have you seen nioh? The EV company.
What did you say?
Have you seen nioh, the EV company?
Oh, nioh, the EV company. One of my friends has been trying to convince me to invest in them.
Do it.
I'm not taking the bait.
Do it.
I'm just going to stick with index funds, man. Until I have more time to look into stocks, I'm not risking my money.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, I bought into nioh a little earlier. I don't want
to open up my app one day and see negative 95%.
Oh my, yeah, can you imagine? That'd be so depressing, yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who've been burnt by it badly. Not people in sneaker groups, I would say. Like, those sneaker stock groups. Yeah. Not those people, but people in real life who just done stupid things like Tesla calls. Okay, like I know a person, I think it was last year, the year before, did Tesla calls at $420.69. And he lost $1 grand.
It's so easy to lose, especially with options. I don't recommend options for anyone that's new. And I also don't recommend if you're like, depends, but most cook group stock mods aren't that good. Just throwing that out there. So like they're going to give you penny stocks to invest in, and those can be really volatile sometimes. So like I don't recommend listening to them a lot of the time. Sometimes some of them are really good. Like I know one who's really good, and he works for a few cook groups. But I also know another one who's really bad. So just it really depends. Do your own research.
Really gotta look out for who you're taking your advice from. What I would recommend to that effect is if you're looking at a new stock provider, look at some of their trades. Go back on their history. See if they've made money on a majority of their trades, or even
100%.
Less of a majority if every trade they're making money on is like 200%.
Yeah.
And if you want to be even more careful going forward, essentially, I know that some sites allow you to do this. I'm not too heavily into stocks, so I don't know the specifics, but some sites allow you to make paper purchases, essentially.
Paper trades,
Where
yeah. I think
paper
Weeble
trades,
does.
paper trades. Yeah, Weeble does. That's the site I'm referencing.
Yeah.
So you can make paper trades with everything they're saying and see if you lose money or if you gain money.
Yeah, that's a good one. I know there's a site called Wealth Base too. You can use that for paper trades. And you can do crypto in that one too, I think.
Yeah.
But,
And if your app doesn't do it, you can always just write those trades down on a notepad and see what they're worth eventually.
exactly, yeah. I mean, Wealth Base, the one I was talking about just now, is only paper trades. It's not a real brokerage firm.
Okay.
So, yeah.
In which case, I would recommend that.
Kind of going all over the place here, but going back to what you said, you work for a real world company. So like as I started doing more things personally, like outside of sneakers and like going into other um stuff, like other things that are not related to sneakers, other jobs, stuff like that, I realized that a lot of the things I learned in the sneaker community or in the sneaker industry actually like apply to things that are outside of sneakers. Like I learned a lot from sneakers that I have applied to jobs or deals or stuff I've done outside of sneakers. Have you realized that too?
That's especially true in developments.
Yeah.
Everything that I was doing on the development side with Samurai really prepared me for this job because it just gave me a foundation to build off of and increase my skill set from. There's so many things, like even web scraping, that I have to do at this current job that being a bot developer really helped with. And
I
in
mean,
sneakers too, just going for drops like that, it gives you a sense of business knowledge if you're doing it right. It gives you a
100%.
good baseline to build off of. Obviously, if you're not in sneakers, you're not, or if you're just in sneakers, you're not some big shot CEO after a year of doing it. But it gives you
Yeah.
some skills that you can apply to the real world, and it teaches you to think in
Think
a business
logically.
mindset and logically.
Learn from your mistakes. I've made countless amount of mistakes in sneakers and in the market or whatever it may be. And when I apply that to things like, jobs or like deals I'm doing outside of sneakers, definitely makes a big impact. Like if I'm talking to someone, about possibly doing a deal together or doing something, non-sneaker related, a lot of my sneaker like terminology I apply to like real world terminology, right? Like come up with analogies like sneaker related for them. You know what I mean?
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, like I know that doesn't really make sense, but like I have it in
Yeah.
my head what I'm trying to say. I just can't get it out.
I think I understand what you're putting down. I think I get it.
Basically what I'm trying to say is everything I've learned in sneakers has definitely made an impact on what I do outside of sneakers.
And that's the same for me. I feel like that's the same for most people who've really gotten big in this community in any regard. If you're great at botting, you get hundreds of pairs, I'm sure that'll influence that person outside of sneakers. And bot developers too. If you start a successful bot company, I'm sure that'll influence them outside of sneakers as well.
Yeah, like a lot of these bot developers that are really successful, bringing in millions of revenue each year. They're like 15 years old. I'm
Yeah,
just looking at that. I'm like, dude, you're gonna put that on your college resume if you want to go to college. That's gonna look really good.
there are so many people in this community who are just so young that it's crazy that they're able to do the things that they do. I mean, there's 15-year-olds
Wild.
out here who are making six figures by doing bot developments.
It's wild. Yeah.
Really, it's given these people a platform to do great things and to have a head start in business in their lives at such a young age, where traditionally, hey, they can go flip burgers, they can go get a job at McDonald's. It
Yeah.
really just lets them excel and shine.
I'm so interested to see like these 15, 16-year-olds that are doing this 20 years down the line if they're if they're making like six figures or like I mean some of them are making millions doing this at age 16, right? I wonder if they're still going to be doing this like 20 years from now.
If I
I
could
wonder
vote,
like what they're going to be doing.
if I could buy those people's stocks, essentially like their life stocks, I
Yeah.
would definitely do
Yeah.
that, because I think the people who are in sneaker
Definitely
bot
don't post
development
this.
now, especially people who are with big bots, Cyber, Wrath, etc., I think those people are going to be doing very well down the line, even if sneakers go away.
Yeah, Jason from Wrath, he seems super motivated to, go on and do great things. He's super young too.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah. I mean, you're working on Astral, right? Is that going to be the next big thing?
I won't say anything yet. It's a side project that I'm working on right now in addition to my actual job.
Okay.
I have developed a couple modules for it. I'm working on Walmart right now. It's almost done. So I'm going to run it on PS5 restocks whenever Walmart does that.
Yeah.
But I hope it's going to be something in the future. And it really just depends how much time I have to put into it. And if I find a job outside sneakers, again, like I did this time, I'm probably not going to spend time developing it because I'd rather have that stable job outside of sneakers, which it still pays plenty. I'll just
Yeah.
say that. But
Yeah. That's good, man.
And I think that I will end up releasing Astral, but I won't speak to any of its success. I won't hype it up. I'll let everything that the bot does speak for itself.
Yeah, just let it, exactly. No better way to do it.
I'll let it grow naturally.
You have any social media that you want to plug?
Well, as you said at the start, at Backdoor That on Twitter, Cat001 on Discord. I'm not too big on social media, but feel free to give me a follow.
Perfect. Same thing goes for me. My Instagram and Twitter are in the link in description. Our sponsors, Sapiens.io, link is in the description as well. Yeah, that's really all. I mean, we kind of like this month's been super dry. This past month's been super dry. So I'd love to have you on like after maybe a month or so when things are a little bit more interesting, like
Sure,
sneaker
it'll
related.
be really interesting to see what's happened since then. This month is shaping up to be very, very strong from a resale standpoint, and I'm excited for what's to come in the final weeks of February.
Stay tuned to Sapiens Twitter because we're gonna have a fat backdoor on that one. So
Oh yeah,
coming
don't
soon.
sleep on Sapiens. Do not sleep on Sapiens.
For real. Thank you for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem, man.